Now, getting to the black pill, I didn't explain what it is, actually. The black pill is simply a more extreme version of the red pill that says that not only physical appearance is very important, it is extremely important. In fact, it is almost the number one factor when it comes to everything around all relationships around you. There's something, I mean, if you seek studies, relating to success and appearance, you will find many of them. In fact, there's something called the halo effect, which basically says that if you're attractive, you are very prone to having better relationships, a better romantic life. You are given raises more often at work. People like you more. You're, just overall, you have many advantages in life. It doesn't say anything about Tinder. The black pill is not. We talked about Tinder all this time because you talked about game, and I just wanted to give some examples. But just in general, it says that if you are very attractive in terms of physical appearance, then you will certainly have an edge when it comes to any type of relationship.
But would a black pill person say don't even go on Tinder because it's not worth it? Because you'll never get laid.
I don't know.
It'll never happen. That's my impression of the black pill.
Well,
that it's sort of not, it's relationship nihilism. That's my understanding. So. Well,
I'm afraid that you've been reading the wrong sides. The black pill is simply an ideology.
ContraPoints, again, the ContraPoints video is a really good source, and again, I think she does a fabulous job. But if that's your take, I guess we can work with that one here. I also feel like I'm doing the job of the interviewer, so why don't I let the guys who actually run this show talk?
Oh no, you're doing fantastic. This is exactly how we wanted to go.
The only thing I
find sure.
Well, let me add real quick before asking the live chat. We kind of know what you're referring to when it comes to the pills, but there are people that do not know these topics. Could you kind of briefly maybe explain to them, just in a brief way, what the difference is between red, blue, black, green, purple, chartreuse,
yes,
sepia?
Rainbow.
Right. So the three pills are basically right. This is actually what I wanted to do at the beginning. Give a brief introduction to the pills. The fact that they're called pills and red pill, blue pill, it means nothing itself. The name, it's just a name, right? Overall, they're just ideologies. The blue pill and the red pill comes from the Matrix. Neo, the Matrix, the movie came out in 1999. There's a point at which Morpheus offers Neo two pills, a red and a blue one. The blue one basically takes Neo back to the Matrix, where he's happy, I guess, but he's very ignorant and he doesn't know the reality of the world. He's naive. And then there's the red pill, which takes him down the rabbit hole. That's what Morpheus says. It shows him how, I guess, the world really is. So a couple of years later, the PUA and the red pill communities appeared. PUA means pickup artists. They're guys who I don't know much about them, but they use certain tactics to pick up women. That's all that I'm going to say about them, because I'm not an authority on the subject. But the red pill and the blue pill appeared as ideologies. They basically said what I explained before. The blue pill says that you are very naive if you're approaching girls by being yourself and just being, just using your personality to attract them. While the red pill says you want to know the truth. The truth is that the majority of girls, and I am not saying all girls, Christy, the majority of girls simply like confident guys who are very attractive and who act dominantly and who have the dark triad of personality. The dark triad is narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellism. I don't want to get more terms in here, but that's something to consider. And that's pretty much the two pills. Years later, in the 2000s, the black pill, actually, I'm not sure if it's the 2000s or 2010s. Just later, the black pill appeared, and it says, you know what, the red pill had it right, but actually, it turns out that being attractive gives you far more of an edge than we thought before. So that's pretty much it. Blue pill, don't be naive. You're naive. You're approaching girls using personality and just being yourself. Red pill, you're using attitude and certain tactics to approach girls. Black pill, just be hot and you'll get the girls.
So what do you do with those? Because to me, I think that there are two worlds. Basically, I think there's a world where people who, like us, we're in these sort of talks and discussions on YouTube. So we understand this lingo. We understand what, the black pill means, blue pill means, what red pill means. But in a broader sense, I don't think most people categorize their interactions socially, be it blue pill, red pill, or black pill. That seems to be a term that's mostly used within the YouTube communities. What do you do with that, knowing that whether you adhere to a black pill or a blue pill or red pill, somebody that takes the black pill, how do they seek to rectify that issue? When you say that only the hot guys can get girls, what's your method to try to find a relationship? What are you guys actually doing to try to fix that issue that you're having?
Right. So a couple of things. First of all, I want to say that these pills are just rules of thumb. They're not laws. Obviously, not only the hot guys are getting laid, ugly guys too. They're just the vast minority, right? No one says that this is like this, period. Second of all, I want to clarify that you can be incel without subscribing to any of these pills. It seems kind of arbitrary that I just brought these things alongside incels, like they're kind of intrinsically related. They're not. You can be incel without being black pilled or red pilled or blue pilled, and you can subscribe to the pills without being incel. Now, you talked about what do we do to remedy those things. Well, ironically, if you believe in the black pill, that means that if you're hot, then that is your biggest factor in terms of attracting girls. Then well, there's not really much you can do about it, right? I mean, you can, of course, all the memes, you can get a better haircut, and you can use perfume and try to apply as many tactics as you want. But at the end of the day, if a girl on Tinder sees your picture, your personality doesn't get to play a role in it, or nor your pickup lines, nor your jokes that you prepared beforehand, because she's just going to swipe left. Of course, Tinder is not everything. You can go out and pick up girls at the bar or whatever. But at the same time, if you go to a bar and are trying to pick up girls, and the girl sees you, she's just say, nah, not that guy because he's ugly. Maybe she doesn't say it that way, but I mean, let's be honest, that's what they're thinking, at least most of the time. So what do we do to improve it? There's not, as I said, there's not much to do. Some people get surgeries. Sincerely, that's a very legitimate answer, which I personally haven't ever considered, but apparently a lot of people on the forum have. And some have actually done some surgeries. And
wow, I didn't know that. Yeah. Christy, what do you say to that about, can you kind of speak to the, are women really that superficial and
well,
and
I don't know. I can't really speak for all women. I mean, I'm just one person. But my lived experience is no. I think that, one of the questions I'd asked earlier was about the average age of the user on the site, because some of the data that I picked up, and if you guys want to bring that up now, there were two studies in particular. One was what percentage of the population gets married. And there's a graph in there that shows that over time, if you look at the percentage, like the chance that you're going to get married increases as you get older. And by the time you're in your 70s, it's like 90%. So if we can take marriage as a heuristic for sex, because I think we understand marriage, whether whoever is getting married, there's an idea there that there's going to be, a consensual sexual relationship. People can't divorce for non-consummation. But this is a situation where you can really say it gets better. I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was back in the 90s, there was a real issue of suicide among gay teens because the society was so oppressive. It's so much better now, but at the time, a lot of adult gay people who were famous, people who weren't gay, I think, got into a campaign that said it gets better. And it basically said, look, I know things are tough now. High school is horrible. There's a lot of pressures you're going under. You might be thinking of killing yourself, but believe me, I know because I've gone through that, or I've seen friends go through that, it gets better. And if you look at this chart, the odds are everybody gets married. And this is just men, by the way. That's not women. There's a chart for men and a chart for women. And so, yeah, I think that and the average age for men to get married, at least in the U.S., is 27. The age of the first marriage for women is a bit younger at 24. And so there's also a bit of a lag there, because I think women do, as a stereotype, prefer older men because they're more mature. They also might be more economically stable, and they might be more experienced, more, confident in bed. So, those things add up. If I'm just I don't have data on that. That's me just purely speculating or just speaking from maybe personal experience. But the other piece of information that I provided was a look at the number of partners you've had by your age cohort. And those are the two pictures with highlighted text on them. And this is looking specifically at heterosexual relationships. And what they find is that the part of the population that is most likely to say they've had 0 or 1 partner is, I think it was men from under the age of 25, like 18 to 25 or 16 to 25. But by the time men were in their 30s, they'd had 10 to 26 sexual partners. And I think this reinforces it gets better narrative. So there was one about, and define it as vaginal intercourse. I can't read that text. Maybe, I think the two pieces are both important. Could you just read those out if you can read them? Because I can't.
Sure. Dave, can you read those?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and read those. It's pretty small on my end too. Let me go ahead and zoom in on the part here that is actually
I just want to make sure I get the
highlighted.
numbers right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. And the source is there in the above.
So here we go.
I actually think that's the second part. Did you go back to the other one? Yeah, go back to the bottom of the other page. Sorry to make it difficult for you.
Oh, you're fine. Don't worry about it. It's my job.
Oh, thanks.
So, this one. Let's go ahead and zoom in here and pull it up. So
there we go.
For the distribution of number of lifetime vaginal sex partners, we found similarities across age groups for male and female respondents, with a few minor exceptions. Among 15 to 24-year-olds, sexual activity group 1, 0 to 1 lifetime sex partners, was the most frequently reported sexual activity group for male, 32.2% to 70.5%, and female, 34.7% to 72% respondents. And then the other one says, however, among women aged 25 to 44 years, sexual activity group 2 to 4 lifetime sex partners, was the most frequently reported sexual activity group, 30.3 to 30.9%. Whereas for men aged 25 to 44, sexual activity group 4, 10 to 39 lifetime sex partners was the most frequently reported, 27.8 to 34.2%.
So just wait for your late 20s, guys. In your 30s, you really hit your stride.
Yep.
That's what the story I get from that data.
Well,
so you're gonna have sex and you're probably gonna get married. That's what I'm just saying. The odds are really in your favor.
How do you feel about that, Sarge?
Well, from what I saw that the data was mainly talking about the people who did get married and who did have partners. But how many of the people in the survey actually never married and never had any partners? Those are the incels.
Well, in the first one, by the time you get into your 70s, it's like 4% or something, or 6%. And we have to remember that some people take a vow of celibacy. And some people choose not to get married. They're asexual people. So I think, when you're talking 100% and you're within 95%, your odds are still pretty good that even in the worst case scenario, in your 70s, you're going to find somebody to marry.
And that, to my question to you, Sarge, is let's take you on a personal level, like not speaking for the incel community as a whole or anything to do with the forum, but you personally, like, since you've started this forum and you've been talking to other people who feel like you do or have the same kind of ideology, has that helped you in any way to like get more confidence to go out and try to